Coach is losing their mind.
Robert just punched a computer.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't watch this.
No,
I can't watch this. I can't watch this. I can't watch this. No! 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 No!
No! Oh my god! Oh, it's terrible. Haha.
We're gonna start with the very basics, but before we do so, I need to know what is it that you have learned about chess? What do you remember? So, have you ever taken a lesson with the Botta sisters? I know you had 1 or 2 sessions.
I know that the pawn goes 2 pieces ahead.
Do you want to mark it? Are you able to right-click a piece for me? Let me see if we can highlight. Try to... Is that right-click? I think
Oh
so.
god, there.
Perfect. Okay, so we're talking about that little guy, the pawn. It can go 2 squares. That's what you're telling me. Amazing.
Yes.
So you're saying it would
Squares.
move like this.
Yes.
Perfect.
And then this thing goes to the right or the left.
Perfect. On the diagonals, the bishop. Very good.
The horse moves in 3s, like here to here.
Very good job. So it moves in an L shape. Very good. Go this way too. Nice.
The rook goes straight.
Perfect.
And, the king goes anywhere.
How far? If there were no pieces around, can I go that far or can I...
Oh, I meant the queen. The king
Queen?
can only move
Oh.
1 spot.
Perfect. Yes. So
And then the
Queen,
queen can go anywhere.
any direction to wherever she wants, any distance. Of course, the path needs to be cleared out, but it would be any distance. And the king is the opposite. Any direction, but very slow. It's a very old king. It only goes 1 square at a time.
Yeah.
You
I'm not
know.
reading this from Google! Chat saying that I'm reading this from Google. I'm not, chat.
This is perfect so far. You know how the pieces move. You know the names of the pieces. Great. So we're gonna simulate a game. I want you to think that you are playing with the white pieces against another Pogchamps participants, another new player, another beginner. What would be your first move and your thinking? We're gonna try to dig inside your thought process, dig into your thinking during a chess game. That pawn looks good to me. Where would you push it?
Ah! Where would I push it? I never know if it's here.
Perfect. Amazing. That's a great start.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a move as a response and push my pawn too.
Fuck. Okay. And I'm going to do this.
What is that pawn push doing? Why do you want to push it?
Because I did not know what other fucking thing to move right there.
Okay.
So I was like, Mr. Guy on the right seems to be just wanted to move off of it, you know?
Sure, Mr. Guy on the right. I like your thinking about Mr. Guy on the right. We're gonna try to meet Mr. Right Guy one day, right? But until then, one thing to bear in mind when you play chess is that every move has consequences, pros and cons. When you push this pawn, what do you see when it comes to black's pieces? Are any of them targeting your pawn? Take your time. It takes board vision, and you've just started with how the pieces move, so it takes a bit of a recap on how the pieces move. But which black piece could capture that pawn?
Oh, the fucking rook. No, not the rook. What's the little fucking...
You can highlight it. You don't need to know the name. I don't care about the names. That one. That's the dude. That's the one that can
You
capture.
know what? I wouldn't have even spotted that. I saw chat say fucking CA. I literally looked and didn't see anything. This is the thing. I don't have board vision.
You don't have board vision yet. Because this is your first chess lesson in ages, Minx. It takes time. It takes time to have board vision. But this is where we start. We're gonna try to make sure that we look at the movie you want to play. So let's start with this. I like that. That's great. I'm gonna play a different move. I'm just gonna confuse you a little bit. So before you make a move, and this is gonna take practice. It's gonna be a bit difficult at the start, but before you make a move, we're gonna need to think if that square you are going to is safe or not safe for your piece. It will take practice to have that board vision, so it's normal that it's gonna take you more time at the start to spot that this bishop is like a sniper from the distance, it's staring at that square. It's hiding there. This looks like it's not doing anything, no harm. And then when we push the pawn, boom. And it's not really a big deal to lose a pawn because that's the least valuable piece, right? We have many pawns, it's not the end of the world. It's just to start practicing, trying to find squares for your pieces that are safe. Another thing about pawns. So we started with 8 pawns. The most important part of the board is the middle of the board, the center. So we're gonna try to push. Wait, did you make that move or did I misclick?
I think you misclicked.
I was like, what? The most important part of the board is the very middle. We call it the center. It's literally the center of the board, those 4 squares. So you're gonna try to push pawns toward those squares. That means that at the start is the pawns in front of the queen and the king that we actually want to advance, want to push. And the rest of the pawns aren't that important. Michelle, thank you so much for the Minx. I need to tell you this because Michelle also started. She played in Pogchamps 3. She started by only knowing how the pieces move, and she was the runner-up playing the match against Nico in the constellation bracket. So if Michelle could do it from 0, you still have 20 days. You still have 20 days, lady.
I can guarantee you right now, I'm not going to be like Michelle.
But we can try to get close to it.
Close to it.
We can try to get close.
Okay.
Thank you for the raid, Michelle, and everyone coming over from Michelle's community. Minx is playing in Pogchamps for the first ever time. She's one of my closest friends. We always do gaming together, but now it's chess time.
We do. Now it's like reverse Uno when I was teaching you the jumping game.
Yes.
And it was, and I'm now like, oh my god, my brain is already fried. So, so then you're saying that this should go up here too? But,
Perfect.
okay.
So we're gonna try to aim for this. We're pushing the pawns that are going toward the middle of the board, and the ones on the side aren't that useful. The reason why we need to push the pawns first and foremost is that when you look at the starting position, how do you move these pieces off of the back rank? How do you develop them? We say develop when they start getting into the game.
You move the pawns out?
Exactly. So one of the main purpose of the pawn pushes is to open up a path for the pieces. And that's why you don't really need to push the side pawns, because if you push the 2 central pawns, it already opens up both of your bishops, both of those snipers. The knights can jump out. They are the only piece in the starting position. You see the piece, the only one that's possible to be moved is the knight, because it jumps across that fence of pawns. So the knights already have where to go. If you push these pawns up 2 squares, now the bishops have where to go too. So you've got the knights, you've got the bishops. And then what we're gonna learn too is that the king, since it's the objective of the game to checkmate the opponent's king, we're gonna do something really cool that's for the safety of your king. Do you know how to castle?
I don't remember, no.
Okay, we're gonna learn it. So we're gonna push, this is gonna be our first thing to do. We push these pawns up 2 squares. Then we're gonna always pay attention to what the opponent is doing. For instance, if this horsey is staring at your pawn, it means that we need to try to save that poor fella, because the opponent wants to capture it. How could you Yeah, you can push. That's one thing. Amazing. You can push and attack. Or if you want to develop any of these pieces, give me a move, bishop or knight move, that would protect this pawn. Does that protect your pawn?
No, why did I put it there? Go back. I can do it again.
You can go back with the left arrow on your keyboard. Just like moving around. Perfect.
Okay, right. I can see this. Okay. I would simply...
Take your time because it's, again, this board vision what we are trying to practice and it doesn't come immediately, but that's a move that develops the bishop, so it moves it off of the back rank and it guards your pawn. Nicely done. Very good job. Look at you. Now what if I go and push, let's say, this pawn? Give me moves that will now develop these pieces, because one thing to bear in mind is that every time it's your turn, we want to use that turn for something useful. So what we are aiming for at the very start of the game is to develop our pieces. Developing the pieces means that you move them off of the back rank, you get them into the game, you tell them, hey, get into the battlefield. Because they aren't doing anything until they are only standing here on the first line. We need to move them closer and closer to the opponent, one by one though. So give me a move that moves, again, a knight or a bishop. And because it's what we said, one turn each, try to make it useful. We don't really want to move the same piece, but we want to make sure that we move another one that's on the back rank. Perfect. Nicely done. What's the difference between moving the knight here or here? Which one you think is better? So one would be here and the other here. Do you see a difference between the two?
They're right because it's closer to the middle of the board.
Perfect. With our pieces too, we are trying to go toward the middle of the board. Very good job. So that's our orientation point. We are driving our pieces toward the middle of the board. It doesn't mean you need to sit in the middle of the board with them, but that's the direction. Perfect.
Okay.
Very good job. I'm gonna move the horsey out too. What do you do? Am I attacking anything by moving the knight here? Am I attacking any of your pieces? Exactly. I was attacking your pawn and you're using your bishop to guard it. Very good job. Very good. I like that move. And I want you to give me another one with the knight to check what alternatives you have. To also guard this pawn. I can't even finish the sentence because you say it faster than I can talk. Well done.
Yeah.
Look at you. Developing the knight and guarding the pawn. These moves are the kind of moves we are aiming for that have multi-purpose. So you develop the knight, you get it into the game, you get it into the battle, and at the same time you prevent your opponent's plan because we don't want to have them capture our pieces.
No, we don't.
We don't. Nicely done. I'm gonna move the bishop here. May or may not be the best of moves. And now we're gonna learn what's the deal with the king. So castling is a move that you will do for the protection of the king. You want this king to be safe. Wait, have you just done that or did I misclick again?
No, I did that. I remembered once it cleared up.
Amazing! So what is castling? How did you do that? Tell me about it.
I moved it to once the stupid bloody horse left the home. I was able to protect it with my castle head.
The castle head is now protecting the king. Look at you castling.
Look at me castling.
Well done. So the king goes. This is the only moment when the king can go 2 squares. Otherwise, it would be absolutely illegal. Because as you said, the king can only go 1 square. So the castling is a very special rule, a very special move. And it's the only time when 2 of your pieces would move at the same time. Because otherwise, we move a bishop, we move a queen. But you can't move 2 pieces at the same time, can you? This is a special move and you did it very well. And the reason why we castle is that since we consider that the middle of the board is the most important, and that's where we are pushing our pawns, That's where we are moving our pieces toward, but it means that that's where there's gonna be fight. That's where the battle will take place, and we don't want their king to be exposed. So later on, when the battlefield opens up, you don't want the fire to be heading toward your king. There could be open lines, open fires. You will see it later, and I will show you later examples on what could happen. But for now, what's important to know is that we don't want the king to stay in the middle of the board because it's gonna be exposed there. It's gonna be vulnerable. It needs bodyguards. I call these 3 pawns the bodyguards. We have that wall of pawns there, and their purpose is to protect the king. And they're gonna stay there in front. We don't really touch these pawns. We don't push them. They are kind of boring in that sense. But if you keep them there in front of your king, it gives this wall of protection for your king.
Wall of protection for my king.
Those are your 3 bodyguards, indeed.
Okay. Okay, see, that's where I always fail. I just move all my pawns out first, and I'm like, I'll keep everyone at the back. I'll keep my important stuff like my horse and my king right at the start. Wall, protection, okay.
That's your wall,
Learning.
indeed. Very good job. So until here, it's all perfect. You have castled, you have a very safe king. I'm gonna make moves that may or may not be the best. You will need to judge for yourself what is my move doing, and if it's a good move or not. What have you just played there, Minx? Tell me about it.
I just ate your pawn, but I didn't think about it.
Well, then
Okay,
you're a natural genius, because that is the best move. My pawn can...
But there was a chance it wasn't the best move, and there could have been some that could have eaten me, and I wouldn't have even looked. I'm like, my piece now, and that's where the downfall comes.
We're gonna practice to be always just cautious, to double check. Of course, it's good that you saw that the pawn can be captured. We just need to check before you make the move if your horsey is in danger or not on that square. So is there any piece of black that is guarding that pawn?
No.
And if the answer is no, then you can capture it. What we're gonna practice with board vision and further lessons and games, if you want to, is to check these kind of things before moving, because the sad thing about chess is that you cannot take your moves back. So once the decision is taken, that's the decision, and even if we regret it, we cannot take it back. So we're gonna check these things in advance, but very good, you can take that pawn. What if I move the rook here? Am I threatening to win this horsey? Can I capture that for free next turn?
Yeah.
So...
No! No,
What
your horse
happened?
is gonna eat me!
You spotted it though immediately. Amazing. You're getting the board vision step by step. That horsey, it's tempting to capture the pawn. I was leaving it as a bait. The horsey is guarding the pawn. It's a weird one, but this L shape guards the pawn. So we can't take it. Can you take this pawn for free? This
No.
other one, is that free to take?
No, the queen can eat me.
The queen
Right.
can eat you. Perfect. How about this pawn? Can you take that one for free?
No, because your pawn can eat me.
Perfect. So you also know that pawns capture diagonally.
Yeah.
Very good. You've got this all. So all of the pawns are guarded by black's pieces. So we shouldn't capture any of them if we don't want to lose the horsey. And now the question is, yeah, you can go back. That's one thing you can do. Perfect. I'm just gonna ask, just so that we practice that too. What if you were, let's say, develop this bishop and let me take it? Have I won this knight, or do you have a counter to my rook capture? Take a look at the full board, and the move is already on the board. Nice! So, if you
Wait,
want...
but how did that... So, why did my other sphere piece go out? How did that benefit me?
Yeah, so the reason why we moved this one, remember that we actually want to get all of them into the battlefield. We want to send them all onto the pitch and not just sit on the bench. So at the moment, these ones are kind of unemployed and sitting on the bench waiting for their turn. We want to try to use our turns to throw more and more of them into the field. I guess, for instance, in League, it would be just like, imagine you have, does this make sense? Maybe in a, which one is the one where it's just one line? Not different. I forgot.
In League of Legends?
Yeah, I forgot everything.
I've never even played that game in my life.
Oh shoot, I forgot that was the one game where we were like, okay,
Yeah.
bad example. But in any game, in any physical game, video game, in any game, if you need a team to achieve an objective, if only one or two members of the team go ahead and the rest doesn't help, usually that doesn't lead to any good. We need all the team members to join forces. I'm so bad at ARAM, that's the one I was gonna say, but then I keep forgetting that you don't play League, because I'm just like, you're so good at every game you play, and I'm like, League is so popular and I'm so bad at it. So I wanted to try to be like relatable and say a League example. I don't even know the terms in League. But
So kind of like someone in chat said, imagine all your team is AFK. But that's my issue. I want to hide my pieces back here because I'm like, then they could be, because once they're all out in the field, I can't look at everything. Right now, I can see what can attack, but once mine goes out, I will lose all vision and I'll only focus on one.
that makes sense. That fear makes sense at the start, but we're gonna practice so that you will become more confident using more and more of your pieces. And it's true that these are AFK at the moment, so we want to make sure that they join the field too. So this spearheaded one, the bishop, I moved it here as an example, but you can also pick another square if you prefer. Where would you want to place this? If it's the turn of this bishop to develop, where shall it go? You can pick the same square or a different
I feel
one.
like the smartest one is where you put it, but I would be a pussy play and put it here, so it's farther away.
That's a good square too. As long as you move it off of the back rank and try to move it to some of the squares that are more into the battlefield. So we try to not just move like tiny steps with pieces that can go further. So that would be the king, that's super slow. But other pieces don't need to go tiny square one by one all the time. You can go further, you can go here, you can go here. Any of these squares are fine. I like your choice too, great. And it's a bait in a way that I was thinking, oh, I'm so smart, I'm gonna capture that horsey that Minx has left there and I'm gonna be leading up material. And then you said no, because the rook is gonna be mine. Perfect. Do you know which one is worth more, a rook or a knight?
A rook.
Perfect. Have you ever heard of the numeric value of pieces, or like how much is what piece? Just to compare. No.
No.
It's not that important, but it can help. It's good to, like, it could be just enough to say the rook is more than a knight. But if you want to compare more advanced, you can also say a pawn is 1, so that's gonna be our unit. A pawn is 1 point. A horsey or bishop, they are both the same value. We say they are about 3 points. So they equal to about 3 pawns. So we have 1 for the pawn, 3 for the knight, 3 for the bishop, and the rook is a bit more, it's 5 points. And the queen is even more. The queen, usually we refer to it as 9 points. So 2 rooks, what would be the value of 2 rooks?
10.
10. And the queen is 9, or sometimes they say 10, 9, 10. So a queen is roughly the value of 2 rooks together. That only will matter when you later get into positions where you can give up your queen for 2 rooks and a knight, and then you're like, yeah, but the queen is the most powerful, so is it cool for me to let it be captured if I take in return 2 rooks and a knight? How much would be 2 rooks and a knight?
13.
Yeah, so is that worth more than the queen?
Yes.
Yeah, But we are always worried about giving up the queen because that's supposed to be the most powerful. But if you get many pieces in return for it, it actually could be a good deal for you. So that's the only reason why it's good to know the point value. And the king, we say, is unmeasurable because that's the objective of the game. So we don't give it a number. It's just to checkmate the king, and that's the objective. Is the most important piece in that sense. Perfect. So I have already taken this, and you captured my rook, and here I am being sad because I gave up my rook. I didn't see that you can take it. I'm gonna push this pawn and see if I can make a comeback. What am I doing? Amazing. What has just happened there?
I ate your pawn.
And can I capture your bishop? Can I eat that bishop?
No.
No, and you thought about it. You thought about it before you moved.
I did for once.
I
did
am very
for once.
proud. You actually considered whether I can take it or not.
For once.
Very good job. Can you take this knight for free? Was that free too, or just the pawn?
Just the pawn.
Because if you take the knight?
Your bishop will eat me.
Perfect. So we take the free one, the pawn. Very good job. Now what if I move here? What am I doing? We always need to ask, what is the opponent doing? Are they threatening anything?
You're threatening two things right now.
Color all the things that you see being threatened. Take a look at the full board. Perfect. So out of the colored pieces, which one is the main thing for you? Which one you don't want to lose?
My bishop.
What can we do to not let that be captured? We come back. Perfect. We come home. Very nice. I like that you didn't go further back. You weren't like, I need it to be close so that it's safe. It's safe there too, because if you just take a look that that square is not attacked by any of the opponent's pieces, then it's safe. And it's more aggressive, it's more attacking if they are going closer and closer to the opponent's pieces. This is perfect, a perfect setup when you have the pawns here, bishops out, knight, you castled. Another question is, can I eat this pawn or this pawn for free?
No, you can't. Because my queen will eat you or my rook will eat you.
Perfect.
Well, I didn't see that until you asked if I saw that.
Even if you didn't see it, your thinking was the right one, because when multiple pieces are attacked, you should always save the highest value piece. So even if your pawns I could take for free, it doesn't matter as long as you save the bigger one, the bishop. So your thinking was the right one, even if the pawns would be, even if I could capture a pawn or the other, you saved the more important piece. Very good. I'm proud of you. I'm gonna play a move that's gonna be an amazing move, and I'm gonna scare you with it. I'm gonna attack. What is my move doing, and what can we do about it? Perfect. What was my threat?
Your pawn was gonna eat my bishop.
And you moved it. You moved it away to a safe square. And at the same time, you looked at that square, you said, yeah, and I cannot capture it there. I'm gonna go there. It's a safe one for me. And an active one. You're not going backwards. I like that you're going forward. Very good. Very good. One thing here, and we're gonna add that to our newly learned strategies. This pawn, let's just take a look at the rest of the pieces and how are they relating to one another, who is doing what. So this pawn, Who is guarding this pawn? Who is helping this pawn?
Your other pawn.
Mm-hmm, correct. That's my only piece. That's the only piece that's guarding it. How about your pieces? How many of your pieces are attacking this square?
My white one.
Can you mark the pieces that you see that are attacking? Yeah, you've got the pawn. Perfect. You've got the bishop. Amazing. Anything else?
The horse.
Mm-hmm. What do you think happens when it's 3 versus 1? Who is winning a battle when you have 3 against 1?
Me.
You! So do you want to start a fight when it's 3 versus 1?
I suppose I do. So then I'd move.
Perfect. Very good job. Why do you capture with the pawn as opposed to capturing with, let's say, the bishop or the knight? Why did you choose the
Because
pawn?
your pawn will eat mine regardless, and then I can just eat it with one of my other stronger ones, and then you can't get me.
Big brain thinking. You capture with the least valuable one, and then you can take now with either the bishop or the knight. Perfect. I like it. Very good thinking. Beautiful. I was gonna ask which one would you pick, the knight or the bishop, and then boom, Minx goes for it. Is the horses safe there on that square?
Yes.
Yeah, because we were saying that black didn't have more pieces guarding that pawn. So you have taken it. What is your threat? What does this horsey do here?
I
Can-
can attack this and this.
Perfect. Which one you think is in real danger? Which one has less protection?
The bishop.
Which pieces of black are guarding that bishop?
The queen. The king.
Yeah, we have the queen, the
The
king,
horse.
the horse. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 pieces. How many of your pieces are attacking it? So they have 3 defending it.
And I only have 1 attacking it.
You have the horsey attacking, and show me one more piece that's attacking that bishop.
My queen.
Your queen too. I'm gonna make a move for black just so that it makes sense that we are discussing this. So you're saying the horsey and your queen are attacking the bishop, and black has 1, 2, 3 pieces guarding it. So when it's a 2 versus 3, in this case, they have 3, you have 2. Is that...
It's not smart, so I shouldn't attack it.
Yeah, at least it wouldn't mean that we win something. You can still trade. So when you capture a piece of the same value, we said that the knight, the horsey, and the bishop are the same value. So this is just a trade of equal pieces. That's fine too, to get rid of some of the pieces, to simplify. If you think that it worries you that you have many pieces because you are worried that you will miss one or the other, that it's too much to handle, you can also just trade pieces. Trading means that you eat a piece of the same value that you're giving up. A horsey for a horsey, or a horsey for a bishop. If they take with the queen, you can say, hey, I want to get rid of the queen, so less worries. Queen for queen. Less pieces, if you prefer that there are less pieces on the board, less worries, that's also a strategy that you can go for. But I'm also gonna make you a killer. You're gonna be going for the opponent's king ASAP. So you're gonna tell me now the alternative. What's happening on the other square?
Your pawn is just chilling there and I could eat it.
It's chilling there. How many of your pieces are staring at my pawn? In a very awkward and disturbing way.
1.
The horsey for sure. Is there any other piece that's staring at the pawn?
Bishop.
The bishop too. And how many are defending that pawn?
This. 1.
1, and that 1 is the king. It's
Oh
not
my God.
very good for the opponent. So from the opponent's point of view, this is very troublesome that they left the king alone, all by himself. So what
So
can
then-
we do to check that king? How do you give a check to that king here?
I eat this.
You can eat it with the horsey. That is a great move. I was asking for a check, but you probably played an even better move. Because what is your horsey attacking now?
My horse is attacking your queen and your rook, and if your king eats my horse, I can eat you with my bishop.
Perfect about the queen and the rook. An interesting thing about online chess, as opposed to a physical chessboard, is that it doesn't even let you execute moves that would be illegal. So one rule about the king is that it cannot be in check ever. If you get a check, you need to step out of it.
What's a check again? Like checkmate?
Yeah, we're gonna recap this here. If you were to take this pawn with the bishop, what is that bishop doing to the king?
Oh, I can eat your king, and then even if he eats me, I can eat it with a horse.
Yeah, so that's the thing, that in online chess, you can't even make this move. Try to move with your mouse the king to capture the bishop. Try to execute that move on the board. Does it
Why?
let you do it?
No, why?
So it doesn't let you do it because if the king were to move here, the horsey is giving check. And that is, it's illegal. It's illegal for the king to be in check. So in this very moment, this bishop is attacking the king. That's a check. So a check is when one of your pieces is directly attacking the opponent's king. It's only with the king. So check is against the king. It's when you attack the king directly. Try to make a move for black here that's not with the king. Any move. Any of your pieces. Try to drag the pieces, move something.
That's not with the king, like not move the king?
Yeah, any other piece. Try to move any other piece here.
Oh, I can't.
So it doesn't let you move anything but the king because the king is in check. And you have to make a move that steps out of this situation of the check. Where can black
Go there.
go? Yeah, black has to step up here with the king and doesn't have any other moves because the computer doesn't let you even take the bishop. On a physical chessboard, sometimes, especially if people are casual players or beginners, or in the movies too, sometimes you see the actor capturing the opponent's king and that's the end of the game. In reality, in competitive chess, that's not a thing. You cannot capture the king because it's illegal to even have the king capturable. So a checkmate is a check that is so strong that the king has nowhere to go from the check. And there's never a situation where you can capture the king because it's illegal to have the king in check. Does that make any sense?
It does, just it's a lot.
I know. We're gonna practice this though, don't worry. All the beginners, everyone I teach, they think that the king is capturable because the movies show it, that you capture the king and you win.
Yeah.
But it's not capturable because the move before you already are winning. So if there was no square here, let me just gonna think if I could adjust the board. We'll come to that later. We'll come to checkmates later. But do you understand the difference between check and checkmate?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So checkmate would be like if my horse was to the right there. Because then if he moves, my horse can get him.
Perfect. Yeah, if you had any other piece guarding that square and the king couldn't step up there because it would be check, this would be checkmate. Very well thought. Very well thought. You're one step ahead because I was just asking about do you understand the difference, and you're already giving me an example on how you could take the square away from me. Big brain lady.
Big brain, man. Chess is so much.
Don't worry, we're gonna take it step by step, and you always tell me if it's too much and if we stop. I don't want to overwhelm you, but so far is this
Yeah, no. So far I'm learning.
perfect. So this
The
would be a
neurons are
check.
struggling already. So someone in my chat was like, the neurons are struggling already. I think you know I'm trying to focus, but this is the most quiet my chat's seen me ever.
But you're picking it up quickly. You said you weren't even sure if you remembered how the pieces move or what they are called, and now you're like, okay, so it would be checkmate if I had a horsey that guards that square and I could capture the king. So like, well, we wouldn't have the capture situation, but it would be checkmate because of that. Very good job. And your other move, because you captured originally here with the horsey, and you told me it's attacking the queen and the rook. Can I avoid that you capture both pieces? Can I save both of them?
I don't think so. Can you?
I cannot. Your move is way too powerful for me to be able to do anything against it. These are the type of crushing moves. If you find moves like this at Pogchamps, you're gonna win many games. Because in this situation, it's not even a bait. It's not even about hoping that the opponent doesn't see it. There's no escape. If I move the rook, you capture my queen. And if I move the queen, you capture my rook. So whatever I do, you're taking something valuable. This is great. This is called a double attack. It's one piece attacking two at the same time. And there's no way out of it. The only way out would be if you could capture, if I could capture your knight, but you already told me that the bishop is there. And it's illegal. Now we know that it's illegal for the king to capture that knight. The horsey is safe.
It is illegal.
Very good job. I'm gonna move my queen here and hope for the best. I will hope that you maybe forgot about your initial idea and I'm gonna get away with this.
Imagine if I did, that'd be funny. I almost moved to where I forgot. I thought I did. I was like, okay, where are we going now?
But it was so confusing that we go back and forth because I was showing you the bishop check too, and then I went back to the earlier one. So it can be confusing, and I'm jumping here and there. Don't worry about that if it's not that obvious. I'm gonna make an attempt of capturing back some of the material that I lost because I'm missing quite a lot of my pieces. So I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm taking this pawn. It's mine. At least it's something. What am I threatening? What's that queen threatening?
My bishop.
Which one?
The one on the right and the one on the left.
Both of them, you're right. Both of them are hanging. So this is what you did earlier with the horsey. Now my queen is doing the same. It's one piece attacking two at the same time, and this is usually bad news. Oftentimes there's no way out because you move one bishop, I capture the other. You move the other bishop, then I capture. What are you threatening with that move? What was your idea with that?
Wait, no, I didn't mean to do that. Go back. Go back. Wait, hold
So
on.
just the keyword, perfect. Perfect. You wanted to attack my horsey. That's good thinking though, because one way you could get away with a situation where two of your pieces are in the air is if you attack something too. I'm gonna teach you a pattern that can win the queen here. This is gonna be already very big brain, and I don't think you have seen this before. If you move the rook, the white rook next to the king, so that was our hero to guard the king, but that hero can also win a queen here. What happens if you move that rook? Let's take a look at that position. Move that rook for me. What does this do? What does this move do?
Now I can go and eat your queen.
Exactly, you're attacking on my queen.
But then you can move away from it.
And you told me that the bishops are hanging, so try to capture one of the bishops for me. With the queen.
Okay.
Does it let you capture them?
No, it doesn't.
Why would that be? What is it that this rook is doing here that makes it illegal for the queen to abandon this?
The king!
The king is behind! Nice!
Oh my god, see? I focus on one thing. My big brain, that my move that I thought would have been a thing was if I go back, I was like, oh, if I move this, say, bishop to here, if your queen is dumb enough to do this, and then I can do this. No, I can't do that. Oh my god, it's not the bishop. My rook can't move sideways. Fuck, see, I forget the pieces!
Don't worry, we're gonna practice that. That's just board vision. It takes time, it takes a bit of practice, but you're gonna get there. This is your first
Okay.
lesson in ages, Minx. You're doing already way
I didn't even
better.
see the king! I'm focusing on the bottom half of the board right now. I forget about the top bit. My brain is too small to handle the chessboard!
It's not too small, it's just not used to it yet. It takes practice, as everything. And you are doing way better than me at parkour. This is nothing in comparison to my level. You're doing so much better than me.
Yeah, but parkour is like, you don't have to calculate. This is one step. Now, when there's an opponent that isn't telling me how to win, that's a different story, Anna.
But during the lessons, I'm here to tell you so that you are trained to do this on your own too. We have 20 more days. You're gonna get there with the board vision. I'm telling you, even by the next lesson, you're gonna feel like you see a lot more. It just takes practice as everything. So what does this rook move do? Because this is already very big brain. This is not something that, like, depending on which participant, because some are already turning, but the new participants, I don't think they would normally see that. And there are many new players in the field. Many.
Alright. Yeah, that was a big, I would not have seen that at all.
But now you know that the queen cannot take either of the bishops because the king is behind, and that is illegal, right? So it doesn't let you execute any of the captures, because if the queen steps away, the black king is in check. And that's an illegal situation, so it doesn't even let you try. That means that if the queen cannot go sideways and your rook is targeting the queen straight forward, is there an escape for the black queen? Can I avoid that you capture me?
No.
No, I am in trouble. I am in deep trouble and getting more and more into trouble. So I'm gonna be like, okay, if my queen is lost, I'm gonna take something with me. I'm gonna take the rook. It's better than nothing.
And then I take this.
Perfect. What does that queen move? What is it doing to my pieces? Your queen.
I'm putting you in check.
Perfect. Very good job. Where can the king go? Mark the squares where I can go. Any other squares where I can go with the king? Can I go to all three? Remember that it cannot be an illegal move. So which ones are illegal out of the three?
The one here, down here is illegal. But how is this one illegal? How is the bottom right illegal? How is this illegal?
Which pieces of yours are looking at it? So
Oh
I guess what's
fuck,
confusing,
my bishop!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
and what's also confusing probably is that it's the queen you're trying to escape from, but all the other pieces count too, because they work as a team. The queen is giving a check, but your bishop is not letting me go there. Your bishop, and even this knight, it looks like it's a hidden piece. It's not doing anything. You're horsey, but in fact, it's also staring at that square. It could still come back and jump back to it. So the king cannot go there. How about the other
You have to
two?
go there.
Yeah, because this one, the other one, what's the story with this square?
My queen will eat you.
Perfect. So that's illegal too. So these are some of the squares where we are checking them if the king can go there. So you said this is the only square where my king can go. What else can you do when your king is in check? So one way to get out of a check is to move the king. Do you know
Or to move this here.
to use a piece as a blocking piece, as a shield, right?
Then, yeah.
So
That won't be smart for you.
it wouldn't be smart. Why wouldn't it be smart?
Because I can eat it with this.
Perfect. You can eat it with the bishop. What else can capture my bishop? This is one. Perfect. Tell me more.
My queen.
The queen too. It's further away, so it might be more difficult at the start to see it because of the distance. It's far, but it can capture it. And if you capture with the queen, what does that do to the black king?
Check.
Let's check again. So let's take a look at this, because we want to learn how to give checkmate. I am in check again. I'm gonna move the king here and try to escape. Now, in order to give checkmate, what you're gonna do is to try to bring as many of your pieces as possible to the attack. We want to bring them close, it's true, but we need to check if they are safe.
Wait, hold on. If I bring this all the way up here. No, it's the pawns. I forgot the pawns change when they go to the top.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so pawns can promote. In this moment, in this position, let's take a look at the black king for a second and tell me where can my king go? If it was my turn, can I move the king to any of the squares? Check them one by one for me.
Here, I would eat you. Here, I would eat you. Here, I would eat you. So, here. You can move here, and you can move here. No, you can't move here. You have to move here.
Can I go there? Can I go to that square?
Oh no, my queen will eat you. What the fuck? How would you get out of this situation?
So
this goes all the way up here.
you're trying to get to my king with one of your pieces, right?
Yeah.
But what you have just checked, in fact, is that I have no moves for my king. So all it takes is one more check and I'm dead. What piece could give this king a check in a way that everything else is here? The reason I cannot go to these squares, which pieces of yours are needed to control those squares? Which ones are targeting the marked red squares?
This and this.
The bishop and the queen. So ideally, you keep the queen where it is, you keep your bishop where it is, this bishop, the other can move if you want to. But if you keep the queen here, if you keep the bishop here, it means that I have nowhere to go. So you just need a third piece that could give a check. What other piece could give a check to my king? So let's look for checks. You're trying to get there with the bishop, right? To get closer. That's always a good idea, to bring the pieces closer. But what if I tell you that there's something immediately? Take a look at all of your pieces. Where can that horsey go?
There.
What does that do?
That means I can eat your king right now where he is if he doesn't move.
And can the king move?
No.
So what is this?
Checkmate.
Checkmate, queen! This is your first checkmate, Minx!
You led me to. I had done 3 moves. I would not have even seen my horse up there.
We are here to
Chat,
learn.
stop saying pop off. I didn't do it. Ada literally guided me to that. Dude, chess is hard.
Look
There's
at
so
that.
many pieces.
Many, but you're gonna get used to it. It really just takes practice to have the board vision. So the more you practice, the more natural it is. Because it's one thing to know how they move by regulation, the rules on how the pieces move, and the other is to have that vision where you see that, oh, this bishop has this entire diagonal. It's a sniper from the distance. The queen too was far here earlier, and you saw immediately that you can take my bishop with the bishop. But it took you a bit longer to notice that the queen can take it too, because it's a bigger distance and it takes a bit more board vision to see all of them. But it literally just takes a bit of practice, and you're gonna get better lesson by lesson if you want to. It's also no pressure. You can also just say, I'm gonna wing it and play the games. But if you want me to help you, I'm very happy to help you.
No, I appreciate your help. You're really good at explaining.
Thank
And
you.
you're so calm too. You're so calm. I feel like I'd throw hands. Streaming never works out. You should just be a tutor. Even I know, right? Someone said I need someone to teach me calculus like this. Imagine if all teachers were like this. Imagine if all teachers were actually patient.
thank you so much, but I have learned from the best because I have an amazing gaming coach. I don't know who on earth would sit there for hours watching me struggle at parkour.
I'm just to say this, I just enjoy the struggle. I'm like, look at her go. No, but you learn it in the end.
But you're so encouraging. No one would do that, to sit there and especially streaming it. And then I feel bad for your viewers because they are just seeing an anti-gamer in action.
I think that's what makes it funny though. I feel like on that it's funny because you're struggling, but here I'm just like in silence. I'm staring at this board and I'm like, 5-head moves. Don't even do 5-head moves. I can't believe I didn't see the horse.
But the horse is difficult. At the very start, that's one of the more confusing pieces because this doesn't make sense. Why is it an L shape? Like, why can't it go like straight on diagonal or straight lines? It's the weirdest of pieces. So it's more difficult to visualize the horsey. Give me another check. So we keep the queen here. We keep the bishop here. Don't touch those pieces. You tried with this bishop, but the story with this bishop, see, we start the game with 2 bishops. One is for each color. You have a dark squared bishop and you have a light squared bishop, which means that if the king is on a dark square, unfortunately, this bishop can never touch it. We can go near, it can help, but it cannot directly attack the king because it's in a different color. And it never changes color, so it's always gonna be forever it's moving on light squares, this bishop, and this other bishop is forever moving on dark squares.
There's another way to checkmate you just said?
Maybe not checkmate immediately, but I'm curious if you can discover yet another piece that could give check to this king, other than the horsey. Horsey is the best move, so you already found the best one. We are just here to practice board vision a bit more. And give me another piece that can check the king. Look at that.
I forget there's 2 half of the board. Damn it. Damn it.
It's a lot of squares in between, but this rook is giving check to this king. What can black do? Can the king move again?
No, sorry, man's fucked.
No. Is this checkmate then, or is there a move for black? Like, it's very bad, the situation, but can you spot a way to escape for now, but to not be checkmated immediately?
Put this, no, put this here.
Yeah, black can still block. Good.
Okay.
Does that mean that they escape? Like, they escape
No.
for now, but you can continue with checks. Perfect. Rook takes, for instance. I like it. Where can I go? This might give me new options, but it still is a very, very terrible situation for me and for my king.
You could go here.
Yeah, because the capture with the rook, and this is why board vision will come handy for these situations too. Again, this is not a big deal because you are capturing all of my pieces. And who cares if we don't give checkmate immediately? It's not a race. This doesn't matter how many moves it takes. Now let's try to see. We're gonna practice further giving checkmate. I'd like you to see, you already have your rook here, you have your queen here, but neither of them are giving check. And in order to give checkmate, we're gonna keep pressing and giving checks to that king. Can you pick either the rook or the queen for me to give check to my king? Is that a check with the rook?
No, with my bishop.
And you say that you're gonna struggle at the tournament?
The thing is, if you give me the time to see something, I wouldn't have noticed. I would have been like, oh, I'm fucked here. What do I do? And then you're like, there is a check. And that's why I'm like, oh, now I have to study. My issue is like, there's not there. I thought it was fucked. I was like, I can't save this now. And then you're like, there is. Asylum, are you proud of your mother on learning chess?
I'm
becoming a
very
chess
proud.
player.
I hope that they are proud too. This is next level. Because I asked you, find me a check with the rook or the queen. So by rook, I thought you will start looking at these squares, and with queen, maybe these squares. And there are some of these are good, some of them are not so good. But okay, depends on. Yeah, that's next level what you did though, because I was just like, you're gonna look at the more obvious ones, but then you move the rook here and you're telling me no, it's my bishop that's giving a check.
Oh my god.
Can you
maybe
see
I
how
am.
next level this is? That you move a piece and it's the one behind the piece that is targeting my king. This is called discover check because you move the rook, but it's the bishop that's causing issues to my king. It's next level. It's absolute next level. And by moving the rook here, why did you choose that square? Do you know why you picked that?
Because if the king, but the king's still safe.
Not for so long. I don't have many options. But this square, I like your choice. Because what does that rook do to my king?
I go back up there to get you again. This is what confused me. It feels like it keeps chasing. Oh, because then you go back. Oh my god. Dude, see, how the fuck do people understand? How did you get into chess and be like, yep, I'm gonna be a master in this game? Oh my god.
I just liked it as a kid and then I kept playing, but everyone is a noob at the start. We are all beginners at everything we start out with. You can have a PhD at something, but at some point you just didn't even know what's 2 + 2, I guess, if someone has a maths PhD. And video games, lady, I know I'm hopeless, but I'm sure that your very first games, you weren't good at them. Or even the games you play nowadays, when you first start out, you would only be good at the game if you played a similar game to it. You need the practice, you need experience.
That's true.
So we are here to practice and improve, and you started saying a lot more than at the start of the stream. You see how
That's
much
true.
further you are already?
You know, I'm further because I'm not playing with just my pawns. Every chess game, I just move the pawns out. I'm like, I'll save my things best to last. I'll protect them. And then the other person's like, let me just dip in and steal all your fucking pieces. And I'm like, how did that happen? That's crazy.
But it's because you have never been told that you only focus on the central pawns, and it's to open up the lines for your pieces. The rest of the pieces are more important. The pawns are little soldiers that we appreciate, especially as bodyguards for your king. Look, your king is so safe still with that wall in front of that king. You still have that wall. No one is touching your king.
He is a safe boy there.
How safe is this one? Where's the wall of this king?
He's a loner. He ain't got no
He's a
soldiers.
loner. He is. I like this choice of your rook because you're boxing my king in. You're saying, Anna, you can't go there, can't go there, can't go there, can't take my rook because my queen is guarding it. Because you check that it's safe, that no one can capture your rook.
My god, you know what? Cutie just resubbed. Did you ever coach Cutie?
We had a lesson where Cutie was coaching me. I'm very proud to be Cutie's student. I learned the torch, how to play the torch, and the bucket.
What?
The torch and the bucket I learned in the very beginning of the game as an opening. I learned the strategies, the bucket and the torch. Cutie, you're such a good teacher. I was passing by Cutie's stream when she was launching her streams for chess coaching, because Pogchamps was one of the very first students of Cutie, and I was listening to the stream when she was just sorting out the agenda, and Casey, and I think you also signed up for a lesson, or just discussing like as the eager rejects of what's gonna be next with the chess streams too. And I was like, can I have a lesson too? And I'm very proud to be Cutie's student.
So what you're telling me is not only do you have to learn how to play the game, learn the pieces, there's also different fucking strategies I need to learn, like the fire and the bucket. I
Yes.
did not take any of that in positivity. Fuck you, E. Fuck you, Q. What, there's strategies? You made me more stressed. Cutie, fuck you. I have to learn different strategies? Oh Lord.
Cute is a great teacher though for those strategies because she played in Pogchamps too, and then she kept playing on her streams through it, and she still plays. You can learn a lot from Cutie if you just want to casually stream one day and check out this very ancient and super modern video game called chess.
I might actually one day Cutie might actually have to teach me the strategies if she taught you different ones. Someone just said there's 227 strategies. Is that true?
There's probably more, but we don't care about how many are there. As long as you know one or two, that's fine. You don't need to know all of them. Minx, the good thing is, you're just gonna have your own, your one strategy, one or two strategies we learn, and we go for that. We don't care about the rest of the strategies. You don't need to learn all of them.
Oh Lord.
Don't worry. Don't worry, and we are starting with this checkmate, and you have just moved the rook here. If Cutie is still here, I want her to see how the big brain move you've just done. Because I was asking Minx, how do you give a check with the rook? And Minx was like, I move here, and I asked her, but are you giving me a check? And she says, I'm giving you a check with the bishop. So she moves the rook to give a discover check with the bishop, and she also checked that the rook is guarded by the queen. I cannot capture it. Where can I go from this check, Minx? Where do I go?
Cutie just said Minx sucks, Anna. She has no clue what she did. I fucking do! I just don't know where to go from here.
That's not your problem. That's the opponent's problem. You don't have to think where. As long as you are sure that your rook is safe and you're giving a check, who cares what the opponent will do? Let them think about that. I'm only asking you so that we practice further board vision and just seeing the alternatives of the opponent. But when you play your game, I don't care if you know what your opponent will do. This king is in check. And the king has to go somewhere. If I don't have a move, sometimes people accidentally give checkmate. It can happen that you think, oh, I'm just giving a check. And your opponent has no moves, and then it's the end of the game. That you can accidentally win the game, but that still counts as a win. I don't care if you know where they go or not go. We're just gonna practice during the streams so that it's training you for seeing, okay, what's legal? Is this legal?
No.
Is this legal?
No.
This one?
No.
This one?
No.
This one?
No.
Here?
No.
Here?
No.
Here?
Yes.
It's my one move, my one square. That means you're very close to checkmate, and the place where it's easier to give checkmate is the edge of the board. So if you're ever in doubt on where to give checkmate, how to give checkmate, as long as you can push the opponent's king to the edge, and the edge could be here, the edge could be here. Why do you think it's easier to give checkmate to a king on the edge? What makes it easier?
There's not as many places to go.
Exactly, because it's the edge, literally meaning that there are no further squares above. If I was with my king somewhere in the middle of the board, normally I would have more opportunities, more squares to go to. But if I'm on the edge, I'm missing 3 squares from the top or from the bottom, but I'm missing those squares. Very good. So now let's think about the checkmate. Which pieces of yours are taking away these squares from me? Because I have no squares, but I want you to see again which pieces are the ones that are doing the job.
This.
The queen and
This.
the bishop. So again, it's very similar to what we saw earlier in a sense that for a checkmate, you want your queen and bishop to not move because they are already doing a lot by boxing in my king.
So
Oh, sorry, that was me misclicking.
The horse. If you want him closer, does the horse move? Or the only 2 things that I'm like, either this moves here or this moves here. 'Cause
Perfect.
then if I go here,
Yeah.
my horse can take him.
Do I have a way out of this?
I don't think you do.
I don't. It's checkmate again, Minx. You've just done it again. And on top of that, it's not only that you were like, okay, horsey here, checkmate. You also told me this move. What does that move do?
That would have done the same.
Sometimes
you
there
were
are
just-
multiple solutions. Sometimes this move is just as good as the other move. Both of them are checkmate. And you saw both of them. Big brain lady, look at you. You saw both of them. And you didn't tell me like, oh, here or such. Because what happens if the rook gives a check from here? It looks just as good, doesn't it?
It does.
What's the difference?
You can. I'm blocking my bishop.
Yeah. So you chose instead a rook move that doesn't block the bishop. It wouldn't be the end of the world if you make this move and then you find checkmate a few moves later. But in this moment, this and this, the knight move and the rook move are the two best moves, and you found both of them straight out, like not even giving much of a thought
Straight
to it.
out. Like chat said, you're not gonna get coaching in the game. Right now, I'm like, yeah, this is good. But if you had me like think about it, I'd be like, okay, this is the move. This.
Well, we're gonna practice, and by practice, you're gonna get there. This is your first lesson in ages, Minx. And I am honestly very impressed by how you went from barely recalling how the pieces move to seeing multiple checkmates on the board. Look at you, girl. What have we learned today? Tell me, what have we learned about where do we go with the pawns when we start?
So you go, the middle of the board is the most important.
Perfect.
It's important to get your back pieces out.
Yeah, no
so they're on the playing
AFK.
field.
Very good. They need
And
to
then
be
it's
out.
important to castle your king, so he's protected.
Perfect. Well, let me go to that example, the game. And you were also paying attention. Remember when you paid attention to my threats, and you can move that pawn, or you can develop your pieces and guard the hanging piece. So you always pay attention to what your opponent is doing, and you try to prevent what I want to do. And then you develop more and more of your pieces. What have I learned about moving the same piece multiple times as opposed to getting the ones off of the back rank? The other ones.
It's not the best option. It's better to change it up.
Yeah, because we only get one turn at a time, and we want to try to use that time as efficiently as possible. So you're gonna have time on the clock, just like in bullet chess you had time, the 1 minute games that you played. That's one way of talking about time at chess, but the other time is the one turn you have each time, and we want to make sure that we use our time unit as efficiently as possible. And if you move a side pawn, or if you move the same piece twice, it means you are not using that time unit for pieces that are AFK. So we want to make sure that there are less and less AFK before moving the ones that are already in the game. So those are already out there in the battlefield. We're going to move the rest of them out too. And in this game that we played as a practice, you developed that, then you did this thing that you remember too. Very good. The castling.
So
Perfect. Do you know if castling is always done this way, or can you do it this way? If these squares were empty, could you go that way too?
I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
And to the other side, let's just maybe, I'm just gonna move these pieces out so that it lets you do it. Now, what would castling be like to the other side? Because there are more squares, right? There are more squares in between. How does that change things? Does it change it?
No, maybe.
Try to castle that side? Perfect. So even though it's not symmetrical, there are 3 squares here in between, and on the other side 2. It's always 2 squares for the king, and the rook goes the other side. It doesn't matter that it doesn't look identical. Here there are 2 squares toward the corner, and here there's only 1. But both are important, and you mainly will go this side. So I want you to do the following. I want you to push those pawns in the center. Develop your minor pieces. We call the knights, the horsey, and the bishops minor pieces, and major pieces would be the bigger value, the rook and the queen. So first we go pawns in the center, minor pieces out, bishops and knights. And as soon as you can, you will want to castle. So if you were to choose between this bishop move and this horsey move, which one you think is more urgent if you wanna castle ASAP?
The horse.
The horsey, yes. So we're gonna try to focus on especially getting the bishop and the horsey off of the back rank, so that it vacates the squares you need for castling. And then next turn you can place your king in safety. You have your wall of pawns here, the bodyguards. We're gonna keep them there, safe, near the king, helping us protect the king.
Protected.
Very good. And then we always pay attention to what the opponent does, because the opponent doesn't always make good moves, and it's your task to decide whether the move of your opponent makes sense or can it be taken advantage of. Like in this position, when I push my pawn and Minx was like, I'm gonna capture it, I'm gonna eat that pawn. And then I went here with the rook. Remember, I went here with the rook and I was asking you, am I gonna be able to take this horsey for free?
No, because my bishop.
Yeah, and so you just developed your bishop because this is not a real threat. You already have a counter to it, so you don't need to back out of that square. You can leave it there for now. It would be different if I push my pawn here, because what am I doing now?
You're gonna eat my horse.
Yeah, and it
doesn't matter as much because it's only 1 point.
Yeah, so the less value.
And you get 3 points of mine.
Very good, very good. You remember the numeric values too. Well done. Very good job. So it depends on what piece is threatening what, but you're right. If the rook threatens the horsey and you're guarding it with the bishop, that's a good deal for you. If the pawn is threatening it, then we run. Then we run. Right? Where would you go with the horsey? Perfect. That's a safe square. What was the difference between moving the piece this way or that way?
Closer to the center of the board.
Closer to the center. Perfect. Very good job. You remember everything. We're gonna recap this whole thing, and that, I think, I don't want to overwhelm you, so if we recap this part, and I'll teach you next time too if you want, and I can give you homework too. It depends on how much Miss Minx wants to work on her chess, because again, you can take it as casual as you want, up to you, how much you want to train. I'm just telling you that you have 20 more days, more than 20 days, 21, 22, depends on which day is your first match. So you might have like 22, 23 days, and it's up to you if you want to take more lessons, or you will just wing it. You decide how you want to be participating in the event. I will offer all my help if you want to learn, and I can give you also exercises that are fun to do, not boring homework. The boring homework, we don't do that.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely want you as a coach again.
I'm very honored if you do want me as a coach, because I want you as my gaming coach. I haven't had a gamer time with Minx in so long. I'm
No, we
missing
haven't.
it.
We should plan something for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea to plan something for tomorrow.
A fun multiplayer game or something.
Yeah, like at around, would it be like what time? Like around...
I'm free around 7 p.m. if you're free.
Yeah, 7 p.m. This like 8 p.m. my time. The time zones are confusing, but I think that's a good time for tomorrow.
That works for you?
Yeah, I think that would be great, Minx.
Last minute planning. Alright, wow.
One last thing here, and that was the most important out of all the things. Here we looked at a couple of options. When you take a bishop for a horsey, that's fine to do. That's equal trades, right? So it's okay if sometimes your opponent is guarding a piece with more pieces than you attack with, because you can just trade. So trading is fine. Equal piece for equal piece. But even better when we can take something without giving anything in return. So in this situation, we were attacking the bishop and we were looking at the pawn. And why was that pawn important? Remember what happened here when you captured it with the horsey? What does that do?
Wait, redo that? I looked at my cat. My
No worries, no worries, no worries. You play this move because I was asking you what's with that pawn, and then you captured it. You ate it with the horsey. What is this attack?
This attacks the queen and the bishop.
Which bishop are we talking about?
The top right bishop. No, that's not bishop. The rook.
Perfect. I don't care how you call it. You can call it whatever you want, as long as we are talking about the same piece. So both the queen and the rook are hanging, and that means that I'm gonna lose either the queen or the rook, because it's one piece attacking two at the same time, and there's no way out of it. Because can I take it with the king? Is that allowed, that I capture your horsey with the king?
No.
I cannot. Why I cannot?
Because my bishop.
Because you're a bishop. And if if I move the rook, you capture my queen. If I move the queen, you capture my rook. And what happened later is that this was a very dangerous situation. If you remember that both of your bishops were attacked, this is the same thing. One piece attacking two. But this is where we discuss the big brain plan.
Rook.
Perfect. Because what does that do?
Eats your king if your queen moves.
Exactly, so it makes it illegal for the queen to go sideways, and it also means that I have no way of saving my queen. I took your rook here, and what did you do?
Eat your queen.
Perfect, and what does that do to my king?
It puts him in check.
Puts them in check. I could go that way, or what I played in the game. I was trying to shield my king, but there was no shielding. And here you found there were multiple ways of attacking, and when it's your game, it doesn't matter how soon you give checkmate. So just because I ask you which move is checkmate, it doesn't matter if you give a different check and the king still has where to go. It's not a competition about how early or what's the minimum number of moves you will need for checkmate. So as long as you keep attacking, as long as you keep giving checks to my king, I don't care how many moves it takes. So just because I ask it as an exercise, it doesn't mean that that's something you need to aim for. All you need to aim for now, is to stick to what we said about which pawns to push, then how to develop the pieces, the horses and the bishops, castle as soon as you can. And every time your opponent makes a move, you check what they are doing. Are they threatening something? Do we need to care about it? Do we need to deal with it? And before you make your own moves, we always check if that's a safe square. For instance, is this queen move a safe square?
No.
No. Is this queen move a safe square?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only thing you need to check when you will have an idea of, oh, I want to give a check with the queen, and then you just take a look at which ones are the right squares. Is this a good square for the check with the queen?
No.
No, very good. You start having more and more board vision. Do you see that? Do you notice that it takes you less time?
Slightly less time.
But that's how it goes, step by step. Step by step. So this is a good check. And it doesn't matter that it's not checkmate immediately, because you're chasing my king. And then you can say, okay, I remember that Anna told me that it's all the squad. I need all my pieces, no AFK. Which piece is AFK here? Which one is not doing a thing, hasn't even moved yet? And by pieces, I usually refer to the big ones, not the pawns, the bigger ones.
The rook?
The rook, that's the most AFK it could be. It hasn't even been touched. Nice, and you bring it in with a check. So it doesn't matter that it's not checkmate immediately, because you keep attacking, and it's check after check. And at some point I'm gonna run out of moves. Let's think here. If you can find a strong enough check, what checks would you think of? This is gonna be the final exercise, because I know that it might be overwhelming. Give me a few options. It doesn't have to be checkmate. Just tell me checks you're looking at.
Okay, so my if you go here, my horse eats you.
Perfect.
You go here, my bishop eats you.
Perfect. What other squares I cannot go to?
You go here, my rook eats you.
Hmm?
Go here, my rook eats you.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
So then you can go. No?
No, that's a good move. I just thought you were not done with the coloring yet. So you looked at those squares, you looked at this square. Is there any other
Yeah.
square I cannot go to?
If you go here, this eats you.
Mm-hmm.
You can go here. But if
Yeah.
I put my queen there, then you can't go there.
Perfect. So you want to place the queen here so that I cannot go there. And now it means you fully boxed me in. You've taken away all the options from me. And that would mean that if next turn you can give me a check, let's say I move this pawn because I want to capture your bishop. But my king is boxed in. That's what you have done with your queen move. So let's look for a check. Because this could be the final one. At this rate, I have no squares for my king.
Wait, see, now I'm panicking. Oh, wait. No.
Don't panic, just let's take a look at checks. And again, even if it's not checkmate immediately, that doesn't matter.
See, the pawn's freaking me out. I want to keep all my places. I want to keep all my things
Mm-hmm.
where they are, but you could eat me. I guess just put it up here so you don't eat me.
You can if you want to. Sure, I'm gonna keep making moves.
No.
Now let's see if we can give further checks to the king, because you've done very well taking all the squares from me. So you're extremely close to finishing the game. You can also, I know you placed here the queen to take the square away from me, but if you find it difficult to find a mate here, you don't find it difficult. Okay. What does that move do, Minx?
Checkmate.
I was just gonna give you an alternative. You try to find a different one, a longer one that might be easier to see, and then BAM! Queen right next
And
to the king.
Would I have fucked it up if I moved my queen to here? Because that's what I almost did. That
You
would have.
tell me the answer.
You would have eaten me. That's the thing. I almost fucked that up. Oh my god.
You
No.
did it though, because you checked it. You checked it before you moved. If that is safe, you did it.
Checkmate.
Checkmate. I didn't give you any clues. I was gonna give you a clue to try it differently, because what I told you that could help if my king is on the edge of the board. So sometimes this is one way to think about it, to try to box me in, and that's great the way you did it. But it's more difficult to find the finish, because like if you move the bishop, then you give me a square, and it feels like I always sneak out. There's always somewhere to go.
And then, so if I go back to here,
Yeah.
if I had done this, it would be checkmate there too, an early one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your pawn is what threw me off completely. That terrified me. I was like,
I know, I was
if I move my
trying.
bishop.
I was
I'm
trying to
fucked.
throw you off a little bit. And it's true that it can be scary, especially at the start, that you're like, I don't want to lose the bishop, it's needed for the checkmate. But it's true that if you make this move one move earlier, then it's checkmate too. It doesn't matter that my bishop is attacked, the king is in check. So even if it wasn't checkmate, like it's checkmate here, but imagine I have somewhere to go with the king. Imagine I can continue the game. But I could never take your bishop if I'm in check, because that's illegal too. I cannot capture the bishop because my king is in check. I need to take care of the check first. I need to get out of the check, and then maybe next turn I can take your bishop if you let me to. But as long as you are giving me checks, you could have your queen hanging, your rook hanging, the house is on fire, but if you're giving me checks, I have to respond to the check. Perfect, Minx, well done. I'm very proud of you. You've done
Thank
so
you.
well. Look at this checkmate. checkmate. So pretty.
Learn the basics, didn't learn to win though. Well, next time, we'll slowly learn, slowly.
You
Bit
are
by bit.
learning. Bit
Bit
by
by
bit.
bit.
That's how it's done. That's how it's done. I'm very proud of you. I thought we would take smaller steps because when you told me you might not remember how the pieces move, I thought we were gonna be going at a slower pace. And then you find like a discover check, a double attack with the horsey, checkmate here, checkmate there. I honestly thought we weren't gonna advance this much when you said that you probably don't remember how the pieces move, and then at the start it took you a while to get used to the board vision. Remember how you started the game? You were giving me that pawn, and the new Minx is no longer giving that pawn off. Who's that girl? Who's that girl?
Oh my god.
You no longer do that.
Not anymore. Welcome everyone from Tommy's stream. Anna was just teaching me chess today. No, Silem, you can't lie on my keyboard.
Minx has just given us a beautiful checkmate here. That's what she's doing because she's gonna be playing in Pogchamps 4, and a couple of other Minecraft streamers will be in the field too. This is Minx's first lesson after a long time, and she's big brain. She was like, no, Anna, I don't know if this chess thing is for me, but today, look how far you've come.
We have come pretty far. We
Very
have
far.
come pretty far.
I'm really proud of you, and I'm gonna keep helping you, Minx. If you keep
Thank
helping me
you.
at gaming. Minx is my
Yeah.
gaming coach. I'm her chess coach.
Yeah, it's reverse Uno.
Yes.
You believe, chat? You better not believe. I learned the basics, okay? A lot of people already know the strategies. Next time I can't even focus on strategies. But no, thank you for coaching me, Anna. I
Yes,
appreciate
thanks.
that very much, and thank you for being patient. Yes, great teacher, Anna.
Thank you very much, but patience, I had a great, and I still have, luckily, I can say present tense, a great coach at gaming who struggles through my parkour exercises. So you don't need to thank me for my patience, because you have been more patient than anyone on the planet when it comes to my gaming skills.
And now we're gaming again tomorrow.
Tomorrow we are back at the gamer time. 7 p.m. British time, you say?
Yes, 7 p.m. BST. I think that's when we're both free. 8 p.m. your time.
Can't wait. 8 p.m. tomorrow for me and 7 p.m. for you. And I hope that we get to meet in person. It's so fun.
Yes. Either you come to England when I'm there, or I'll go to Spain.
Sure.
One or the other.
Let's
One
do
or
that.
the other.
It's bound to happen. Like we've been trying to meet already for quite some time. It has
Literally
to happen.
the one time we had bloody plans, I got COVID. What are the chances? What are the chances of that? So annoying.
We got a
Well,
bit
one
unlucky,
day.
but next time,
time.
and I hope that you recover fully so that you can feel with your senses.
Yes, and enjoy food again.
Enjoy food. I'll see you tomorrow again, Minx, for some gamer
Yes.
time this time.
I
And I'm
will
really
see
proud
you.
of you.
Thank you so much for coaching me and taking time out of your day though too. And I'm excited for gamer time tomorrow. I'm excited to be in my peak and to be loud shouty girl again instead of focused.
Tomorrow I'll be the clumsy one, and I'll need to be carried.
Yeah, you'll be the one focused then. Reverse
Yeah,
Uno
we're like,
tomorrow.
how do you use this? What is which button? Wait a second, Minx.
Then it's my turn to shine tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh.
I'll see you
Well,
then tomorrow, Minx and
yes.
Minx's community. You're a big brain lady, and I'm gonna help you as much
You're
as
a
you
bigger brain
want.
lady. You are.
It's the one game I know. At everything else, I'm a noob, but a happy noob.
A happy noob, an enjoyable, happy, have a fun time noob.
Yes, I like gamer time even if I'm terrible at gaming.
You're not even that bad though. It was only the parkour that you struggled in. The dragon wand you got immediately.
I get the
Oh.
idea, but I don't have the keyboard, mouse, or controller skills. So that's just lacking the, if I could control the games with my mind, just thinking about, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, maybe I could be a gamer.
See, she's in mind. You'd literally, if you had a superpower, it would be one of those like telepathic ones where it's like you just do everything with your brain.
Exactly, I want to be that type of gamer.
Well, Thank you so much again. Yeah, chat. Yes, I know we appreciate Anna. And goodbye to Anna's chat. Thank you for dealing with me, and my smaller brain than Anna. And
Not
don't forget,
smaller.
tomorrow, 7 p.m. BST, we will be playing another fun game.
7
Might
p.m.
be.
7 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. Spanish time, another time in Spain, and I can't wait. See you tomorrow, Minx, and
I
bye,
will see you
Minx's
tomorrow.
community.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. This was streamed live on my Twitch channel where I stream full time, 5 days a week. Do catch us live next time or follow the highlights and the VODs here on my YouTube channel. In either case, I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much again and bye for now. Until the next time.